Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly Grim and Perilous Master today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign, playing Cubicle 7's outstanding Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition. And with me today are the stars of our Salt, Silver, and Sin campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today. First up, we've got our resident dwarf, Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Thognoth Barracks and an Iron Breaker Tunnel Fighter.
Very nice. Angren, was it Angrenoth? Was the proper name for that?
Oh,
I have the companion. I brought my entire stack with me this time.
Yeah. Anthragor.
Right. Okay. And next up is Colin, a.k.a. Spoik Pit.
Hello there, I'm playing Frederick Schuster. He is a peasant hunter. His current career level is trapper, and he's raring to get back at. Well, I'm raring to get back at it. I don't suppose he's particularly raring. No, he is. He's an interested chap. So he's always on the explore. So yeah,
I would say he strikes me as a raring type. So
yeah, he's raring to go. Yeah.
Nice. Next up is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Katerina of Shalia. She is a priest of the goddess of mercy, Shalia.
Nice. And last, but certainly not least, is Darren.
Hello, yeah, it's Darren here. I'm playing Alwyn Carlson, who is an outlaw, and he's got his family pet with him, Astrid.
Nice. Now, Colin and Darren were attending a family event last session, so they did not see the terrible spot that everyone else has left them in. Oops, frickin' whole 20. All right, here we go. But let me bring you over to a cast of characters here, and I'll leave your colleagues to tell us what happened last time. Let me just figure out where the heck this... Oh, I think it's right over here, guys. Boom. Oop, well, that's the road. Where the heck did I leave all... Is it in here?
I'm anticipating a Fang Dragon joke any minute now.
T-minus. There we go. All right, so hold on. Let me rearrange some stuff here. Now, that is a very busy sheet. But there is a reason for that. Ooh, I need to make some of these folks a little smaller here. All right, so to bring all of our heroes up to speed here, let me paste you guys down there. There we go. When we left our heroes 2 weeks ago, you guys had just not hired on, but you had been instructed, at least Katerina and her companion from the Temple of Manon had been instructed to take part in a diplomatic mission, I guess, among some nobles in the hills south of Sulzenmund. Try and to diffuse tensions between the two of them. You guys may recall that you had learned that the Church of Sigmar was going to be sending someone, and that was the Father Erasmus Hager, and you guys were sent along as representatives from your churches, and then the rest were hired on to assist with that. We left with you guys arriving and meeting Matthias Netson, a troubadour, and he was talking to a woman named Greta Rosenau. That's where last session picked up, with Katerina, Thognoth, and John's character, whose name is escaping me right now, Talther, talking to Matthias and getting a sense. What do you guys recall from last time, Sean and Carl?
Let's see. We spent the night at an inn, and there was much interactions with the bard. Some mostly pleasant, I think.
I think Thognoth was inside the
I was
roadside.
in the bar.
Yeah.
I was at the bar.
For the most part, but Katerina and Talther were there, but Talther in particular was exchanging gossip with Matthias. Do you recall anything about what he had to share? Thognoth wasn't there, but Katerina?
He shared quite a bit, implicating people on both sides of the family of dealing with the unsavory powers.
There's rumors with members of both families.
I think that was the most.
I think the one
other rumor.
There was one more that particularly struck Katerina, or at least it seemed to. Do you recall something involving the Electric Count?
The Electric Count. Well, I thought that this guy here, Raymer, was the one who let us know that.
No, it was there was still Matthias.
Okay.
Raymer was the one who, you did speak to him afterwards.
Yeah, but I guess that we learned, well, I think importantly we learned that the Church of Sigmar didn't really know that we were there.
Yeah. Raymar Kremsa.
This guy confirmed it.
Yeah, he was he's like the aide de camp to Erasmus Hager. And apparently they were unaware that the church was sending or other churches were sending representatives. The Katerina and Talther both, particularly Katerina, offered to meet with Erasmus to talk to, so they were at a proper introduction. And then Hager, there was nothing that you would think from your dealings with Raymer that he wouldn't bring that message up, but it doesn't seem like Erasmus Hager was interested in meeting with any other church members. Yeah. The rumor I was thinking of is that there's a rumor that Netson shared that in the middle of peace talks, the Electric Count is going to sweep down with his army and destroy both families once and for all.
Yeah, I was almost a little too vocal about that and started a fight.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of here. So the other rumors that were exchanged were that you'd heard that Jakob Kreutzfeld is being forced to marry Dorothy Durenbach as part of the peace accord. As a reminder, Dorothy Durenbach is the one who was a priestess of Shalia, but who she left the churchhood to marry, and then her husband died. There are rumors that Old Man Durenbach was poisoned by Ruprecht, which is why Brigitte was chosen to succeed him. There is a rumor that Arendt and Evert, the two mercenaries serving each of the family of the mercenary captains, it's said that they served together on a mercenary campaign in the past and hate each other. There is talk that Old Man Kreutzfeld has not been right in the head for several years, which is why he is not attending these and sending his two sons in place. This is not I think a surprise, but there's rumor that Ruprecht resents Brigitte. And Friedrich Kreutzfeld, it said, dabbles in dark magic and has been known to sacrifice animals on Hexenstag. That was a rumor that one of you guys had picked up when you were asking around before you came out as well. I think that's all the rumors that you heard. So then you headed out the following morning. And what do you guys recall about the trip? As is often the case in the old world, a trip through the wild is completely uneventful, or do I have that mistaken?
No.
Well, the main thing is we ran into I'm trying to think of something happened before that, but we ran into quite a few mutants with a leader that seemed to utter a speech created by someone else.
Yeah. The speech was, because Darren and Colin, your characters would have heard this anyway. The speech was that you are all fucked. Wait, is that it? No. Are we 10 minutes into the session right now? We had our... I made a reference in the first 10 minutes of our session last night that instantly got the video demonetized. So,
Oh, really?
Yep. I mean, as soon as it came out of my mouth, and I'm like, yeah, I should have waited a little longer before I use that turn of phrase.
So it's 10 minutes, huh? That's the magic.
10 minutes. 10 minutes is usually the thing. As long as you don't swear, you don't, have things in the first 10 minutes, the algorithm won't automatically pick it up. Normally, if something's been demonetized or it's like, limited monetization, I automatically, you can appeal it, and then someone will actually take a look at the video, and 99.9% of the time I've had it approved. But that one, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I understand why that one ain't gonna earn any money. Let's see here. What they yelled out was, we are the poor. No, it wasn't as clear. It was through the mumbled, malshapen, mouth of a 6'5" mutant with horns and animal legs, who bellowed out, "We are the poor and have been cast out by society." They stumbled over the words much more so than what I am. We only take what we are unable to earn by honest labor. Drop your weapons, drop your gold, and keep out of our way. That's what they said. There's about 20 of them in total up and down the line. Near the back of the caravan where you guys are, there are 4. And Thognoth has engaged with one of them who was wielding a crossbow. And I think, you know what? Because we're on the right page here. Hold on, I think I can shake this loose. One sec here. Oh, you know what? I changed your token. That's why. Dang it. All right, so then, Friedrich or Alwyn, do you have any questions about what's happened or what's happening?
So that you said there was 20 or more of these?
Yes, but really there are guards and whatnot in the caravan. So really the only ones, there are 4 that are around the back of the caravan of the 3 wagons. I shared that picture of the forest road just to give you a sense of what the terrain is like. So you're effectively only going to be dealing with these 4 that are back here.
Okay. But do the rest of them look in a similar sort of state of
shambles?
mutations?
All of them are mutants in various different ways. I just didn't want to sit and roll up a bunch of different things.
Any sort of flags or any sort of way of...
So that is a good question. That will be answered. That's trying to find stuff about the scene, though. So why don't you go ahead to your character sheet and everyone click on initiative. You do not need to click on your token with this game. Do not need to, I should emphasize. Perfect.
Under combat, right?
Under combat, yeah. I think so.
It is, yep.
Also, thanks, Sean, for sending that developer journal. That was really helpful. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
I'm really sorry for the highly skilled mutants you're about to face now.
Sean's fault.
Yeah.
He survived the charge from Thognoth, so not that bad.
Yeah, and Thognoth fucked up his knee last time. Who we missed?
Yeah, that didn't.
Oh, Frederick.
And they caused Katarina to fall after throwing a slingshot.
Yeah, we had our first fumble last week. All right, let me grab the dice here. There we go. There we go. Okay. And boom, boom. Okay. So then, I think we left on the mutants, actually, because, I haven't had a chance to go with them yet. So, the one that is engaged with Thognoth screams in pain from that massive axe sweep. And let's see here. Oh, yeah. I saw it on the sheet. Sean, advantage actually works differently in Imperium Maledictum 2. It's you're able to swap dice. If you're rolling with advantage, you're rolling with disadvantage. You swap for most favorable or swap for least favorable.
Interesting.
It's a definitely. They didn't just take Warhammer Fantasy 4th and then port it over. It's really its own thing. Looks pretty cool. Here we go. All right. So this is going to All right. So I need an opposed dodge and melee check with you, Thognoth, please.
All right.
Excuse me.
Can I, let's see, can I parry it with my...
Well, no, it's dodge and melee. I need you to roll melee, please.
Oh, melee, sorry, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Challenging.
All right.
But you've got 2 advantage right now.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Let's see. I didn't do anything with the advantage.
Is your skill a 75?
My skill is a 75.
Okay. Go. Okay. Okay, so 60. Yeah.
I have 2 advantage.
Right. Okay, so then that makes for so you've succeeded in it. So you're going to get +1 advantage. So you're at your max now.
Okay.
So then you are going to get an attack on him because he is fleeing. He tried to disengage but was unsuccessful. So you are going to get an attack on him.
All right. Let's see here.
And you've already got your max advantage, so you would normally get advantage from it.
Okay.
But go right ahead.
All right. And should I reflect that advantage in the things that it asks, I wonder? Maybe
It
not.
should be, yeah, because it should be +30.
Okay. So, challenges. So it wouldn't. So it asks for like target bonus. I wouldn't put it in there.
Yeah, 20 or 30.
Okay.
Remember, don't put a plus sign in though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, astounding success. All right. So what is? Oh, and remember when you're using your attacks, make sure you use your weapons. It'll save us having to go. So just click on your weapon quickly.
Yep. Axe.
And I'll count. We'll keep your 7. And so it's 15. Whoosh. All right.
Punch.
Oh, and you know what? It adds that advantage automatically when I use the weapon. There we go.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Okay. Then, so that was 15 to the left arm. Go ahead and give us a percentile roll.
Okay.
86. I know technically we roll for hit location when there's a crit, but let's just get this moving. All right. So arm 86 is cleft hand. The hand splays open, losing one finger. So you have now. You will never play the harpsichord the same again. He screams and is staggering off. I'm going to make a check here for the others. Huh? Okay. One of them screams and races off into the woods. Is it my initiative tracker? Who is that? Hey, there we go. The other two are going to... I can't remember how readying an action works in this game. You guys recall?
Being an action.
Let's see here.
Thought it was a free action. This one.
So I think you guys have done that before.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
And like he's like getting a weapon ready, or?
No. He's just readying so that if you get in, they're going to attack if you get into range.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oof. Can't remember. Let's see. Almost like a hold action kind of thing. Huh?
Exactly, yeah. And like each game has its own way of identifying if it's a held action or readied action or interrupt action. Carl, you run more Warhammer than I do. Do you remember offhand?
No, because I just have people running an attack.
I play with maniacs.
not very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Tactics I use.
All right, here's what I'm going to say is that I'm going to make it a contested initiative check. When you race up, it'll make it a contested initiative check. Whoever wins that gets to act first, and we'll look up what the actual rules are later. That gives you some use for your initiative score other than, just setting in order. So that's what the rest of them are doing. This guy is down to 0 wounds right now.
I mean, it just goes to show that your grasp of the rules is totally dependent on the group you play with. Because if they don't engage with the rules, you're not going to use them, are you?
Yeah,
totally. Yeah. It's I got to say, like, one of the greatest things about playing with John is because he's so rules focused. I've got the chance to learn and see the table a shit ton more rules than what more not relaxed, but like less tactical minded players would be. It's
like he's actively seeking out the rules to kind of try them out and get them into play.
I begrudgingly had to learn everything about trip rules in D&D 3.5 the last time we played because he was playing a character who was specialized in doing that. So.
Yeah. Nice.
Trip monk or trip fighter.
Well, he was playing
grapple is the other one too, right?
He was playing a trip fighter with a glaive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he was combat reflexes, so he could attack a bunch of times as people came in. It was nasty. But anyway, that is what the mutants are doing. Then it is Frederick.
So these wagons, Kev,
yes.
I'm not actually... These guys have jumped out. I'm not in combat with anyone. What is my opportunity to make use of the terrain or the wagons?
You guys can picture you're sort of like at the very back of a caravan of 3 different wagons. The first wagon is the Sigmarite priests, and then it's either the Kreuzenfels or the Durenbachs are the next 2 ones. They have their mercenaries kind of around them, along with their caravan guards, and then you guys, along with Matthias Netzen and Greta Rosenau, are at the back of the thing, kind of walking along. A little further behind, there's a couple of men-at-arms there who are kind of immediately eating dust, and you guys are a little behind, or have been a little behind them. So the surrounding terrain on either side, the reason these things were able to get the jump on you is partly because of the overgrown
Yeah,
area.
it's pretty dark and close terrain, isn't it?
This is also a road that is not typically... It runs the border between the Kreutzfeld and Durenbach lands, which is why they ended up taking this, because they didn't... Neither of the families wanted to go through the lands of the other family, so they're using this sort of rarely used road to cut their way through. So... As far as like trying to take cover of or whatnot, there's not really much in the way. They did manage to spring a pretty effective ambush on you.
I'm wondering if I could like hop up onto a wagon and get a slightly higher firing position, or is there
not
any,
easily? No, there's not really a place you could prop up, and all the wagons are sealed.
Right. Okay. So the nearest guy is how far from me, roughly?
The nearest guy from you is probably within, like, Thognoth was in range to charge in, so dwarf charge distance.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll shoot the one who's maybe looking in my direction.
Thognoth, what's your movement? Do you remember? Oh, you might be muted, Sean, so... To Mo?
My movement is trying to find it. Let's see.
It's on the main tab next to the characteristics, just to the right of it.
Very good. Movement is 3.
Okay, so they're within...
Walk is 6.
Yeah.
On 12.
Oh, that's climbing, charging. Yeah, so they're at least... they're 3 yards away. So that's 10 feet-ish. So that's how far, Frederick.
And were they stationary or are they 10 foot and closing?
They're stationary right now. They seem to be carrying some ramshackle weaponry, wearing patchwork armor. They're seemingly waiting. The one that Thognoth engaged screamed and has run off into the bushes, and it looks like he may be missing part of a hand. One of the other ones just screamed and ran off. So there is I'm just gonna loose a shot off. Then I'm just gonna. Nah, you're not jumping me in the woods. I'm not having that. So yeah. Okay. Oops. Go. On the defensive.
That's the closest thing I saw to hold delay.
Okay.
Type of thing.
I wonder if it's I'll take a look at up in arms. That does expand.
Maybe up in arms. Up in arms might have.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
But that'll be. I mean,
I'll look it up in arms.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll look while we're going.
Okay.
Sorry, did that shot come up? Did it materialize?
It has not yet. Did it prompt for modifiers?
No. I just clicked on the bow thing. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. But it probably prompted for modifiers like bonus or penalty. You may need to. Do you have?
Perhaps I'll have another go. Hold on.
This is the pop-up could be hidden. Do you have your sheet popped out into a separate tab? Sometimes that causes the sheets or the pop-ups to still come out on the main.
Oh yeah, there it is. You're right. It's behind there.
Yeah.
Okay. So difficulty. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty will be. Hold on here.
Is
this
that
is short range plus average. Average plus 20.
I was just going to say, is it short range? Mm-hmm. Target bonus? No.
None.
SL bonus?
None, I don't think, unless you've got a talent that grants that.
Don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, so close. You want to fortune point that?
Yeah.
Okay, go right ahead. It's the same process. But now that you've been through it, it's going to be a breeze. A cinch, I say.
Gonna be a breeze. For some reason, my character sheet just keeps shutting every time I look at the chat.
Huh.
Is it popped out?
Now it won't even open. So what's going on here? Something's not working
The
right,
warp.
I don't think.
The warp.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Come on.
Here we go.
Let's try this. Hold on. Let's try this. See if this is right now.
There you go. Holy smokes. All right.
it is.
So that is 4 points of 14. 4. Come on, Madison. Quit cheating.
So in the
Bonnie.
fiction, how
Yeah.
does that fortune point thing work out again? Because I get confused between games now. Have I fired 2 arrows, or have I like
No.
kind
This
of
is just you.
retcon?
You're caught. Yeah, it's a retcon of your
Yeah,
original
right,
roll.
okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So this and let's see here. We'll spend this down.
Speaking of fate points, after a little refresh, my preliminary is that you can't hold, but you can spend a fortune point at the start of a round to choose when to act in that round.
I don't care. I like my rules better.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes it a contested thing anyway. I feel that's an overlooked part of the rules, then, not because otherwise there would never be any chance for enemies to interrupt because they don't have fortune points.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
then so that hits so 14. So just checking the armor on these things.
I mean, potentially it's just baked into the game because it's an opposed roll all the time, right? So you're always on the defensive, really.
Yeah, it's true. Although what it wouldn't allow you to do is to damage an opponent unless you rolled a crit on a parry then
Yeah.
for it. So
Oh, I see what you're saying. You want him to interrupt. Got it.
exactly. So, and I think like just making it a contested initiative roll, if you've got advantage, that's going to factor into that anyway. So if you've got the momentum in combat, you're still more likely to be able to
I know I
interrupt.
can look. I can look because there's a talent. There's a talent that allows one of the duelist in my party.
Oh,
He has
okay,
a talent.
nice.
He has a talent that if someone charges him, he can do that. So we look at that.
Yeah,
and
maybe
then
see
we
what
can-
that says. All right, so Frederick, that is your action. So solid shot. It startles the other. Yeah, so that is that for him. Alwyn, what are you doing?
So there's only one left, isn't there? Really?
Yeah. Thognoth could still, in theory, try and chase down the one he's injured.
Yeah.
I mean, when has a dwarf running off into a forest ever ended poorly?
I think at this stage, Alwyn, he's not sure of himself. I think he's going to take a defensive stance. He's going to draw his dagger and his sword, sorry.
Yeah.
And just try and keep... He's very... I don't know if scared's the right word, but he's very apprehensive about mutants and what's going on with them, and I don't know if I want to touch that, get close to that at this stage.
Okay.
So he's defending the group if anyone comes towards us.
Okay. And Astrid is growling. Katarina, so you don't have a move this round because you're off balance from that sling attack from last time.
Yeah, I thought I can just all I could do is like get up or something like that.
Well, you haven't fallen prone. It's just that you're stumbled and getting yourself. You can still take an
okay,
action
okay.
if you'd like. Does a sling have a reload
I don't know.
component to it? Let's take a look here.
Then I have to roll sling to see if I reload it.
Let's see here. That's ammunition. Sling. I think so. Yeah, it does. Slings don't, so you can fire sling each
Does
round.
not. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to try and
Yeah, I guess from a
zing your sling?
yeah. So who?
There's one that has yet to retreat near where Thognoth is on the right side of the road, and then there is one that Friedrich has zinged an arrow near on the left side of the road.
All right, I'll do the one that Friedrich fired at because
Yep.
it looks like he's injured. Okay.
I believe they call that the Shalian prayer of focused fire.
Yeah, I kind of try to regain my balance as I'm stumbling around. Pull another slingstone out of the pouch. There's plenty of nice slingstones along the road. And then throw it.
Okay, that's if that's
fairly-
an actual talent, then I think I'm by granting them the ability to do this, it's just giving them a free talent, effectively.
But, I mean, you could like, since it's challenging, right? You could maybe make it, if they don't have it, a -20 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
make it hard.
Make it hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a martial.
Barely a miss.
You want to fortune point that?
I will. Yeah.
Oh, are you counting it as short range?
That gives a +10.
I think short is +20.
Okay.
Yeah, but it should prompt you when you're using your weapon.
And then it didn't, but
because didn't the bow prompt for range?
it's just difficulty.
Yeah, difficulty.
Difficulty.
You
Okay.
Said, yeah.
So then use.
Well, if it's +20, then it would have been a success of 1.
Oh, okay, so that's a success of 1, right? So that's a hit for 7. So unfortunately, that hits, but between his armor and his toughness, that's it hits and stings. It's going to leave one hell of a welt, but that's it. But you haven't regained your footing this turn, Katarina, so you'll be able to act next turn. Thognoth, you got mutant blood on your axe.
Who is close by? Who is within charging range?
You could charge the mutant that's retreating into the woods, and then there is another to the left. I think I'm going to require. This is like pretty gnarly terrain, so if you are going to run through here in a charge, you're going to need to give us an athletics check. Challenging.
Yeah, isn't your knee messed up?
Oh yeah, and your knee's fucked up.
Yeah, and you made the roll on how many rounds. I mean, that was really recent. But when we go forward, I think you made a secret roll on the rounds. By the way, I did.
That does sound like something I would do. What is your? Does it reduce your movement?
Agility test by 20, I believe.
Oh yes, can.
And so there is someone in the clearing still though that I can charge.
Not clearing. No. They're all on the side here. So that's what I'm saying. Like in order to get to the other one on the right, just give us an athletics check to avoid stumbling.
Okay. Let's see. Athletics.
Now hold on. Does advantage apply to only attack rolls or to all skill checks?
So I think it makes the it's probably gonna. I think it puts it up to you. It makes it as all appropriate. Let's see what the language is. Each advantage you secure adds +10 to any appropriate combat test or psychology test. So it's on page 164. So it puts it kind of on you. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, I like that. I think this is absolutely something you can use your advantage on.
Okay.
It's going to make it all the more comical if you fail.
Right. Let's see here. All right, so challenging, but I'm throwing 30 on there. Okay.
I guess the intention is to kind of create that momentum in it to encounter. Yeah.
All right, so you turn and it helps to resolve combat. Yeah. All right, so you go racing through this stuff, kind of out of the bushes. This poor mutant was not expecting anyone to come out. Now, would you give us a contested initiative roll, please? They have to make it hard. Yours is it challenging? I failed. But it's good contested, so let's see how badly you fail. If you
You're right.
You can apply your advantage to this, too.
Oh, okay. All right. Challenging. And that's 30. There you go.
Nice. Okay. So you have an impressive fail. Yours is... it's equal to mine. So I think this will be simultaneous. Let's do two contested rolls here. So
very good.
Let's do yours first.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your... Let's see here.
My axe.
Your axe. I got a crit fail on mine.
That sounds bad.
That does not bode well. Yep, so that is... you can add...
Wait. You know what? That's wrong, because it took care of my advantage, and I put in my advantage, so it's 30 too high. That's too high by 30.
Okay. Oh, yeah, 135. All right,
it should be 105. 105.
105. Okay, so then that is a success of 1. But then you actually get to add a fail of 6 on this. So
okay.
Go ahead. And that is to the head. Why don't you give us a percentile roll, please?
Oh, a headshot.
Yeah. 24. Oh. So this manages to cut him across his eyes. He's blinded, but I don't think he's going
With
to.
an axe.
Yeah.
An axe across the eyes just doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Would
go.
you give us your defense roll too, please? Your parry.
Okay.
And remember to add your advantage to this as well.
All right. Okay. There you go.
Let's see. Oh, is that it there?
That's it there. 50. The 50 is my parry.
Isn't there? I thought there was a
Okay,
parry
so-
roll. Yeah, because that rolls damage as well. I thought there was a parry roll on the character sheet.
Not that I'm aware
No?
of. Is
Okay.
there? Am I missing anyone? Does anyone know of a parry button?
I don't see it.
Don't see it. Okay.
I don't think so.
It's just a pose.
All right. Okay.
I mean,
So
there is
then,
that parry skill you might be thinking of, but that's a little different. You know, it's
Okay.
a whole different parry skill, but I don't have that.
okay. Talent.
There is
Is
a
it?
dodge one. There's a dodge button next to initiative,
okay.
but no,
yeah, yeah.
parry.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So then that is success. So you're able to deflect his attack, but your strike basically lays him dead, having sunk directly into his ocular sockets. Then it is the mutant's turn.
And I got it pictured where I put my boot on his head to kind of pry out the axe.
Oh, that'll be next
after-
round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So then the last remaining one turns and flees as well. And then if you're not making pursuit for your future nemesis, the farmer harpsichord player, he will likewise disappear into the bushes. All right. So I think we can drop out of initiative, because it's what has gone on between you guys and these things seems to have been mirrored up and down the caravan. It seems that with the dwarf screaming out and charging into combat, it bolstered the resolve of the defenders, and they were able to put up more of a struggle. And it seems as if these mutants, what rumors you've heard of how fearsome that beastmen and mutants can be, this really doesn't seem to live up to that expectation, because they have folded before the force of any kind of even the mildest of resistance closer to the front of the caravan. Now, Thognoth, you put your boot down and pull your axe out. Would you give us kindly, I think it's perception, but let me double check here, because on my Game Master screen, I have a full list of skills, guys.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's nice.
That's just typical tavern talk there, though, building up the rumors of these mutants.
Yeah.
Definitely. When that dragon ogre centaur thing
it's
comes
like the
out.
fisherman's tale, isn't it? It's, it was this big.
Yeah,
you know?
bigger with every telling.
Yeah.
Okay, let me double check what one skill does here. I think it's going to be a perception check at routine?
Average?
Average. Yeah, average.
Okay.
I'll just see if I've got the wrong skill.
There we go.
here.
A +1. Marginal success.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's just. I just read the description of perception. This is the one we're looking for. So
Nice.
you pull this thing away, and what you can see is that this individual, one of the fortunate things is the single blow that you struck hit this thing square in the noggin. So you haven't damaged, apart from the spray of blood and vital fluids that came out of the eyes and the head. You haven't really damaged the clothing whatsoever. And the curious thing, maybe when you think of people living in the wild mutants in particular who are slowly degenerating into being more beasts than men, you would not think of clothes that have been conscientiously mended and things where obviously holes in knees and tears in tunics have been carefully stitched up. As you look down at this person like this, that person clearly seems, to be living rough, but it's not someone who has wholly given over to abandoning the trappings of civilized life. Yeah.
I'll as I clean off my axe on their tunic, I'll say, have a look over here. He's it's a bit more kempt than your usual mutant in the forest, I would think.
Does anyone wish to go over and take a look?
Yeah, I'll be interested. Yeah,
Sure.
Definitely interested.
So if you make your way over and you look down, Thognoth sort of points out what you say, and coming from a family the size of the Schusters, you are used to hand-me-downs, and you are used to mended, clothing that has either been resized or, just has been worn too much, and you stitch it up to get extra, you patch up knees, whatever. That's what this person is wearing. And by no means are you an expert among mutants, but the savage tribes blood drinking that you would expect, this is not the clothing you would expect on someone who is living more beast-like than man-like.
No, yeah, definitely. And what exactly is it that leads us to believe they're mutants? What's the nature of their mutations and stuff?
This one here, actually, I made sure to bring my Tome of Corruption. Would you give us a percentile roll, please?
Yeah.
Let's see what disfigurement this one has.
It's a 29.
29, okay. Okay. It's cults. So there's a great big table of mutations in here. I'm just trying to find where in the heck it is. I think they give it by the different by the different ruinous powers.
Oh,
yeah, it's cool. So
that is cool.
Beastmen of Khorne will look different from Beastmen of Nurgle.
Right.
And Slaanesh. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Although... Oh. Yes, here we go. We don't have yet, in 4th edition, anything to do with Khorne. We've got Tzeentch and we've got Slaanesh. Yeah. And we might have something from Nurgle in the newest source book, but we don't have anything about Khorne yet.
No.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Although in the Archives 3, you can be a cultist of Cain.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a good source book.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Okay, so this one, what he has, there are horns, but not like pan-like horns coming out of the head. There's one, what probably would be like a kid's, a young goat's kind of horn coming out one side, and then there appears to be like a curling ram horn coming out the side of his head.
Oh, right. Okay. So he's definitely a mutant. It's not just a case of mistaken identity.
Oh, definitely. This is definitely a mutant. While Thognoth and Friedrich are inspecting this, Katarina and Alwyn, anything you guys wish to do?
I think Katarina wants to take a look at Thognoth's leg. I don't know if anything can be done for it.
Yeah, because you saw him limping, maybe. By the time she gets up there, Thognoth, your knee's feeling better.
Okay. doesn't need attending. No one's injured, right?
Thognaugh's down by a couple wounds.
Couple points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could try.
Sure.
Pulls out some bandages. Here, let me take care of that. You're bleeding.
All right.
So let's see here.
Is it challenging? Challenging.
Yeah, I think it's challenging, and then isn't it your intelligence bonus you restore?
I think it's successes plus...
Or success
plus intelligence.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's not me.
Heal. Here we go.
Did it go?
It did. Impressive failure.
Oh, no. No, you're more injured. All right. Sorry about that.
What is your intelligence bonus?
It is 3.
Okay.
I'll probably use a fortune point for that.
Sure.
I don't want to injure him.
Yeah, because it can actually cause injuries.
Yeah.
On an astounding fail, the patient will contract a minor infection.
There you go.
Crit success. Beautiful.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, I'm seeing if I don't see anything about crits here.
Yeah.
But still, that is 4 points to get back.
4 points, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Now, just in case you have to get into another fight, Thognoth on the road.
Another scrap.
All right. So Alwyn, because you're kind of hanging back, I think what
And
you
we can tell Jonathan that the mutants took Talthor and absconded with him.
Let's see here. What you can see, Alwyn, is that it appears that there is a bit of a scuffle between or some words that are being exchanged between the Durenbachs and the Kreutzfelds. The immediate danger seems to have passed here, which means that these two seem to be kind of chirping at one another on this. But as you're doing that, Arendt and Everd, the two mercenary captains, they both come back, and you can see that Katerina is, treating Thognoth, and Arendt says, "Are you injured?"
I'm fine, he says gruffly.
Yeah. If they look over at you, Alwyn, was anyone injured?
Who asked that?
Arendt Structor, one of the mercenary captain for the Kreutzfelds. Everd is with him as well, the mercenary captain for the Durenbachs.
It doesn't. I said the dwarf had a little scratch, but I took care of it.
And not the blessings of Shalia on all of us.
Fortunately, mutants are no warriors.
Not even the big guy, huh? The big 6-foot dude who...
He was at the front of the caravan. And Everd says, no, they retreated. Cowards.
Indeed.
Hopefully they will not go back and get more of their friends.
Aaron kind of nods and says, indeed. Perhaps it'd be best if the caravan got back moving and left this area. Everd kind of nods, and the two of them turn and are making their way back up. Aaron, what you can see is that as Alwyn, what you can see is that as the two of them are making their way back up, Arendt is passing the Durenbach wagon to make his way up to where the Kreutzfelds are.
Oh, this guy, yeah.
And he, it seems like Brigida turns and starts trying to order something of Arendt, trying to give him commands. And you can see Friedrich Kreutzfeld, the young one here.
Yeah.
Friedrich starts screaming at her that she can't give commands to their servants. So definitely sees that the Father Erasmus's work may be cut out for him. Jakob has to actually restrain his younger brother, and Ruprecht Durenbach seems to have thrown himself into this, and he is screaming back that their soldiers were only under order to protect Durenbach people and equipment, and that if the Creutzfeld soldiery were any indication of their skills, Friedrich would be better off turning his coach around and heading back to Papa for protection. So the two of them, it seems as if they're about to get into a bit of a scrap here.
Sorry, Kev.
No, go ahead, Sean, or Colin.
I was just going to say, I might sidle up a bit closer with the intention of seeing if I could assist this Bridget or whatever her name is with whatever it was she was instructing this fellow to do.
Yeah, so you go over, and what it is that Arendt Strepdorf he serves the Creutzfelds, she's a Durenbach, and is trying to give instructions to that. This escalated as Friedrich is chirping back at her, then Jakob was dragging him away, then Ruprecht came out and started yelling at Friedrich, and then Friedrich is now both like, you fucking, and they're getting ready to draw swords on one another.
Oh, wow. Well, is Shalia, is Katerina finished with Thognoth? Or
yeah, definitely.
All right, so she's going to try to calm things down. She's like, gentlemen, we are all hot of head after this bloodletting. Let us remember the purpose of this expedition is to bring households together. And why bicker after we've defeated the forces of chaos?
Sure. Why don't you give us so this will be challenging. Why don't you give us a challenging charm check, please?
Okay.
Challenging charm check. That sentence brought to you by Dr. Seuss.
Oh my gosh. If I can use a fortune point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
go ahead.
Before we determine that she's incensed him more. Did it go?
Listen up, you primitive screwheads.
It didn't roll?
Did it prompt for a modifier?
Yeah, I got it, but that's weird.
Yeah. Second roll hasn't come yet, at least. First one came through.
Yeah, the first one came through. I did the modifier. Still a failure, but okay.
But not that. I mean, honestly,
not an impressive failure.
No, and like this is also a challenging situation, right? So you're trying to say that, and that is when the scream of a man, powerful voice, clearly something that is used to singing hymns in a battle church, ready to call people to service. It is the voice of Raymer Krempze. And he shouts out, "He's dead!
Oh no.
Herr Hager is dead!"
Well, I'm going to definitely rush over there. That's strange.
So the caravan for a very brief moment is just dead silent. And Katerina, you leap into action and go racing up. There is then, once everyone sort of realizes what's happening, there is a surge of people running to the first coach. You were able to get there first, Katerina, not only because you started acting first, but also because you're much bigger than everyone else. Mm-hmm. And when you get there, what you can see is there are 3 initiates who are carefully withdrawing the lifeless body of Erasmus Hager from inside and placing it down on the road.
He was in the from the coach.
From the coach, yeah. As you're running up, you realize that Dorothy Durenbach is also running up with you too, and she looks at you and she sees your there's a moment of recognition where she recognizes your robes and whatnot, and she says, "I'm sorry, sister. I can assist. I was of your order before."
Yes, I've been wanting to talk to you at some point.
Would you give us a heal check and make that routine, please?
Okay. Oh, is that average? I guess.
No, routine plus 20.
Yeah. No. Okay. The thing's different and everything.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I
Why
might be
is
using
it-
the wrong nomenclature.
It's fine.
Anyway,
I
Why
think
is it-
routine was just last night.
routine. It's average
Yeah.
and then
Average and then easy.
easy. Yes, sorry, Carl. That's my
There we
fault.
go.
It should have been easy.
Yeah.
So actually, that's you start checking for vital signs. You're checking for a pulse. You see that Dorothy has a little mirror that she hands to you, and you hold it over his face. There is no sign of breathing. There is no pulse. There is a pregnant pause that hangs for nearly a minute as everyone is watching the two of you. And then Dorothy looks up at you, Katerina, makes eye contact, and kind of slowly shakes her head and is waiting for approval from you. Katerina, this guy's fucking dead.
Yeah. Can I tell what he died from? Like
You can start
the wounds on him?
checking, yeah. If you're looking around with a roll, because you rolled quite well, and that should have been actually plus 40 for easy. So there's another 2 degrees of success.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at him and the wounds, you can see that there is a small red mark on the right side of the cheek. Oh, sorry, right side of the neck. And if you kind of move the head to the side, you can see that there is clearly a tiny puncture wound here.
So potentially he was poisoned. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it
It
doesn't
is-
look like it's not like a battle wound, right? Like he's
Definitely not a battle wound. Definitely not the kind of thing you get from like nicking yourself, shaving, or something like that. Dorothy says, "Sister, what do you see?"
it seems that he might have been poisoned during the chaos of the battle. And I show her the prick on the neck.
Shall you be merciful? Who would do such a thing, and how?
Well, who was with him in the coach, right? That's the first.
At the time, he was alone in the coach.
Oh, convenient.
Most convenient.
So I guess we should. Does anyone see anything? Anyone jump to the coach? Anything?
So as you are looking at this, Brigida actually steps forward and looks at you, Katerina, and says, "Who are you? You're not part of my entourage. Are you with the Kreutzfelds?"
Because we are part of the ma'am. We are part of the. Or I would say, would I say Lady Durenbach? Probably, right? Lady.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Lady Durenbach. We are. Apologies. We are with the diplomatic envoy. I'm Katerina of Shalia, a humble servant of the goddess of mercy. We are here to help the priest of Sigmar with this diplomatic venture.
She looks over at Raymar, who's now the ranking Sigmarite in here, and he nods. He says, "It's true, my lady. She and the Temple of Shalia and the Temple of Manon also sent representatives." And she seems a little confused by this. She moves back, and Dorothy stands up and says to you, Katerina, "Thank you for your assistance, sister. We will speak soon." And she rejoins her family. The Kreutzfelds are also kind of talking among one another. It seems right now as if there's not quite clear what should be done here. And Raymar walks forward to you, Katerina, and says, "My lady, might we speak?"
Yes. Well.
And he sort of like gestures away from where the two families are. You need to make a roll. It seems like he wants to be out of earshot of the Kreutzfelds and the Durenbachs.
Yeah, I should tell my companions like what I observed as I try to, tell, like, especially like the hunter, right? Alwyn, it looks like poison. So, and then I go and talk to Raymer.
Okay. So he pulls you aside and says, "My lady, I am Father Hager's, or Herr Hager's, personal assistant and have been for many years. It will fall upon me to report this incident to the Elector Count. He had placed great hopes on Herr Hager finding peace among these two. But," and he looks at the two different groups of nobles. "To be frank, lady, I think I need assistance with this."
Oh, definitely Talthar and I are here to help. And now it looks like you are in charge,
Well,
Brother Krem. Is that...
I think it would be Brother Raymer.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of, like, if you say that, he kind of, emphasizes brother, not father. Mm-hmm. There isn't a battlefield promotion among the Sigmarites. What he's getting at, Katerina, is that from his perspective, Father Erasmus, yourself, and Talthar were the three representatives sent by the Elector Count. With Father Erasmus gone, there are now two representatives from the Elector Count, and one who owes the Count a comprehensive report on this.
So he wants to step back? Is that what...
Well, what he says is, whatever relationship that our church may have had to this, and that Father Erasmus had, or Herr Hager had to these families, you do not owe loyalty to either of them. Am I correct, my lady, that it's a Reiklander accent I hear?
Yes, I'm not really from Nordland.
Then,
much like Father Hagar, I've traveled, right? He's like a traveling priest of Sigmar, like a quote unquote judge or something.
Then what I would suggest is, and he looks at the two families once again, I do not know who to trust here, but I recognize...
especially with this, right?
What I think if we move from here, the murderer may escape, and we will not see justice for Herr Hager. If we remain, I think you can use your authority, and I will throw my support behind it, for you to conduct an investigation, for us to report on this to the Elector Count. Speak to these people.
We should make camp here?
We still have much daylight, and it is not far to our destination, but the land between here and there is wild. And I think this attack by mutants who seemed... I cannot say I have a great deal of experience with such things, but did these seem to be the fearsome beasts of legend?
Not really.
I think that not a coincidence. I think we take what time is needed here. We seem to have driven off with no casualties, whatever attacked. In the event that they return, we can have a defensive position. But this will give you time before they can escape, before they can seek protection of their own families. You can investigate. Learn what you can, where everyone was when the murder occurred. And Sigmar and Shalia willing, the culprit will be revealed.
Yes, well, I guess I need to speak with these. Well, maybe speak with my group.
Certainly.
And then
confer with them, and if you agree, I will make
delay. Delay. Like, say we have to prepare the body. There's certain rituals that have to be done. You know, the lay people generally don't know what's going on. So,
yeah. When you know that one of the, because there's now three of you who, I mean, Raymer's got borrowed glory, as it were, but there are at least two of you who still have the authority of the Electric Count. If you tell them, we're going to complete this investigation, then we'll carry on, there's really not much they can do about that. It also will put them in a position, if one of the families decides to try and buck the authority of the Electric Count, then it tells the Electric Count who they need to favor then. Right? So they're in a bit of a precarious position right now, politically speaking.
Or if that rumor is true, he's going to come wipe them out all anyway. So
Yeah. So
there could be that threat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll have an opportunity. He'll step back and talk to the initiates and start dealing with the body. You will be able to go over and speak to Thognoth, Friedrich, and Alwyn, and separately from the other.
Right. Well, it looks like there's a change in the way this diplomatic expedition is going to go, gentlemen. Thognoth and I might be in charge.
Talther.
Thognoth, no, he's going to be in charge.
The dwarf nods.
Yes, this makes sense.
This makes much sense. Finally.
Madeline,
I may need
you finally had some sense come to you.
It's about time. I've waited my whole life for this.
I might need your dwarven tenacity and hard stare to get these nobles in line. Hopefully it would not come to that. So I do get these guys up to date. I suspect it looks like there was no battle wound that felled Father Hagar. It was poison, it seems, and I describe it and what I saw. And the murderer is still around, unless I did not think the mutants got close enough to the coaches to sneak in there. It had to have been, and if it were a mutant, I'm sure the father would have fought, right? So it looked like someone just kind of came up upon him, and
yeah, like from what you looked at, there was no sign of struggle. There was no sign of, yeah.
So Brother Raymer suggests that we camp here and try to figure out who did this, if that person is still here. So I am no tracker.
Is the current thought that the attack was a distraction? And
that's what I suspect. You are the tactician, Master Dwarf.
I mean, I'm wondering if the assassin was among the attackers, or it's in our group.
Well, that's what I mean. I did not think. Do you recall any of the mutants that mutant band getting close to the carriage? And again, there was no sign of struggle. So
Thognoth was really the one who has the most up close and personal experience with the weapons they were using. The kind of fine stiletto that would have been required to assassinate the way that Katrina has described. That is a difficult weapon to craft. It is something that is expensive and requires the blades that are that narrow, they can so easily break even just when they're being forged. Compare that with what these guys were using, which were crude cast-offs, repurposed farm implements. Nothing that's among these mutants matches what the kind of fine assassin's blade that Katerina would be describing as likely the murder weapon.
These poor excuses for a warrior. I don't think it was them, unless there was someone very different hiding among them. It would appear to be someone in our group. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
We'll have to maybe someone who's better at it to interview, to question those near his coach.
Well, all the initiates, I guess. But a stiletto, again, it's a finesse type of weapon.
Maybe a search for stilettos then.
Things were also pretty chaotic during the attack. People were running and moving all over, so it's difficult. What likely will be required is an interview with perhaps all of the involved parties, and then trying to piece together what it was that actually happened.
That should be fun.
First question, did any of you murder Herr Hager?
I don't know.
The dwarf says, all right, that. You got me.
I don't know. Kevin, Darren's kind of quiet. I don't know.
Oh, he is looking suspicious over there, isn't Alwyn? Yeah.
And the dog done it.
That's right.
Ash's ears go flat against the head. Always blaming the dog.
Okay.
Any questions? Thognoth, Frederick, Alwyn? Not for nothing, Frederick, you probably have some insight to when you are moving in the circles of the powerful like this, who do you think the first person is they'll blame for if things go wrong?
The poorest guy, probably.
That's a reasonable assumption.
So the minstrel or Greta?
Or perhaps if things don't go the way that you hope, these nobles may turn on the non-noble members of your party.
We should be safe here.
They'd have to catch me first.
So then...
All right, so I would definitely appreciate Alwyn to start looking around that coach.
Well, first, Raymar's going to make he's sort of waiting to hear if you're in an agreement with this plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, do we have a choice? I mean,
I was going to say, before this announcement, I was thinking of sort of taking to the sort of woodland with Astrid, and sort of mainly to check that we're not going to get attacked again by mutants, but with a secondary sort of motion or idea of how can I get that rover? I've got the rover skill. Oh, that's it there. So I want to use that to sort of lay low a bit and trying to get a bit closer without people knowing I'm there to try and listen in.
You guys, let me put this into context so you can tell us what you think of Alwyn's plan. There is a murderer among your number. There has been no announcement yet about what role there will be. The announcement
will happen as I've gone off.
Well, no, that's the thing.
That's an issue.
Yeah, like if someone just got murdered and someone happens to spot a, ruffian trying to sneak off into the woods.
No, the idea is I'm going off to check for mutants. I'll make that perfectly clear that I'm going to scout around.
If you try and move off, then one of the guards will be like, whoa, where are you going?
Okay.
Everyone's pretty tense. I mean, that's definitely a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Let's tell people what we're doing first, and then act. I think that's.
Yeah, well, I was
what
going to say
Katarina
that I'm
suggested.
going looking for mutants, but if they don't want me to go looking for mutants, then I won't go, obviously. So
How do you think they would interpret your explanation for going a stranger among the caravan, a murder has just happened, and now someone wants to try and leave the caravan to go elsewhere? Again,
yeah, I
Friedrichsen-
understand, but that's his instinct.
Okay.
Because obviously he's worried
Yeah,
about
so maybe
people coming in.
that's a good thing. So
So
maybe he
he'll put it
realizes
to the group. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're in a much more precarious position, perhaps, Alwyn, than what you realized you were in. You're like, wait, because some of these caravan guards are looking hard fucking stares at you right now.
Yeah.
So, like, all right. And Raymar looks at you and or steps to you, Sister Katerina, and says, perhaps we best rein in before they turn on either your companions or each other.
So should we talk to the two leaders of the caravan guards and tell them what we aim to do first? How do we?
He says,
how do we navigate? How is this navigated?
I think
just a general announcement.
The best
course.
And you can see on the look on his face, like he's truly out of his depth, right? Like this is just not something. And he looks and he says, I think perhaps the best course of action is to do as Herr Hager would have. Command and expect obedience. And he sighs. Clearly this is not his normal way of doing things. So he turns...
I got a good cool, okay.
And says... Sigmar be praised, for he has sent me the answer before I even answered the question. Sister Katerina is the representative of the Elector Count on behalf of the Church of Shalia. And somewhere around here is the church, the representative of the Church of Manan. The Elector Count invested Herr Hager and the Church of Sigmar with a holy mission, and a murderer will not thwart that mission. Sister Katerina will be the eyes and ears for the investigation into Herr Hager's murder, and we will provide a full accounting to the Elector Count. Neither coach nor horse shall move until the investigation is complete. Kreutzfelds and Durenbachs, you shall extend your cooperation to these men and women as representatives of the Elector Count. Any interference shall be duly noted in my report to the Count himself. And there's sort of a hushed kind of, as they're murmuring, and he looks at you to kind of give it like, how did that go?
No, that's actually pretty good. Noble ladies and gentlemen, again, to emphasize that we are here at the behest of your liege, the Elector Count. There has been a murder, as Brother Raymar stated. The attack on us seemed to be a distraction to do this, or to do this heinous act. And we will stop here. Clearly, obviously, the horses should be unhitched and taken care of, as is right, but no one is to leave. We will camp here.
So what you guys can see is that Brigitte Dernbach seems to be working up a bit of a head of steam, like she's about to challenge this. But before she can do that, Jakob Kreutzfeld speaks, and he says, "Herr Kremse, Damen Katerina, for our part, the Count will have our full cooperation." The full cooperation of the Kreutzfelds in this investigation. I am confident that not only will you find our family innocent of any wrongdoing in Herr Hager's untimely and unfortunate demise, and his eyes gaze over and hang on Brigitte. I am certain that you will discover the true culprit as well. Ruprecht Durenbach kind of frowns, turns and whispers into Brigitte's ear, and after a moment of consideration, she begrudgingly says, "Forgive my delay. My grief at the death of the Count's representative temporarily overwhelmed me. You will have, of course, the full cooperation of the Durenbach House during your investigation. If there's anything you need from any of us, please let me know, and I shall see to it personally." And the two families sort of drift back towards where their respective caravans are. Raymar steps forward and says to you, lady, or sister Katerina, "Well, that, I suppose, went as well as it could have."
Do you feel like we should get the aid of any of them?
I think it best for you to rely.
Dorothy was Dorothy is a former priestess of Shalia, but we are supposed to speak later. However, I was thinking about at least getting the heads of the men-at-arms as kind of to help us with the investigation. There are a lot of men-at-arms that we would need to talk about, and they would know the character of those men. Maybe one of them saw something as well in the melee.
That seems sound to me. With Lady Dorothy Durenbach, I agree that there may be something fruitful to be gained from speaking to her, but recall, when put in a position to choose her god, yes, or goddess, and her family, she chose family.
Mm-hmm.
I will arrange for initiates to conduct a search of Herr Hager's wagon, and we'll turn everything over to you. I expect you will find resistance from them. And he kind of gestures to the Durenbachs and the Kreutzfelds. If you seek to search any of them, should you find the need to do so, come to me. Perhaps our shared influence might convince them to permit that intrusion on their privacy.
Yeah.
And I cannot...
definitely... Good.
I cannot help but think of it. Herr Hager always said, diplomacy is war. And Sigmar teaches the arrangement of your forces is of utmost import in determining success. I think there is wisdom in that. And he looks back at them to determine where they were when the attack occurred. If this is sorcery that struck down Herr Hager, we will not find an answer, but I suspect it is not. And you would concur with that as far as medical? This guy was stabbed to death. Sorry, he was poisoned, I believe.
Oh, like, so there's poison on the stiletto and they just kind of stuck it in his neck.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Then, consider as well who might oppose the peace between the families. Herr Hager, for his faults, I think would have been successful in uniting these two households. His death will make that more challenging, if possible, at all. Who might gain from such a thing? Then, if there is nothing else, sister, I will leave you to your investigations and our mid-session break.
Mid-session break.
Yeah. So we'll take our mid-session break now, guys. Back in 5 minutes, and then we will see where our heroes go next in their investigation. So back momentarily. All right. Now, I wonder if I should make some handouts for you guys if you wish to take notes. Let's see here. Will that be helpful at all?
It certainly wouldn't be unhelpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'll do is I'll make a player notes thing here. I'll make 4 copies. Let's see here. And then I'll let you guys just lay claim. And no. I was trying to find the logo for this, so I put it in I put it SAL for it, and a universal table from Marvel Superheroes showed up in my search.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. There's player notes. Let me do this here. 1, 2, 3. That work? It did. Okay, so let me do this here. Oops. Okay. So Sean, there's yours.
Okay.
Colin, there's yours. I'll move that further up in the thing here. Oop. And I'll move that one down. Thognoth, there we go. Go. There's Carl's notes. Carl's notes sounds like an off-brand Cliff Notes product.
Yeah.
And I'll put that under Katerina. There you go. And certainly not least here, Darren. Daza notes. There you go. My sister's name is Cheryl, and my former brother-in-law is from Stockport, just outside of Manchester. He used to call her Shazza, and I've called her Shazza ever since because I think it's funny. So,
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
yeah. Okay. Then, so those are your notes, guys, and Raymer has stepped aside. I'm just going to put him down here for now to conduct the investigation. So, at this point, you are free to interview anybody here.
Well, I would say definitely to the group, I say Thognoth. It looks like Brother Raymer's put a target on his back. So we make sure not to give you extra duties, but make sure he doesn't die.
All right.
And I mean, maybe we can, maybe Alwyn, you can use your hunting skills to see if there's any strange footprints that go in and out of that coach.
Well, I was interested if there was any footprints more sort of from where the mutant attack came, sort of like there was any sort of
There is unlikely to be,
between...
I'll tell you, there's unlikely to be any useful physical evidence
there's too much chaos.
Yeah. Your best bet here is likely to be to interview, to try and piece together what happened and come up with a clear understanding. So stepping out of the
well, the knife is somewhere around here, right?
Yeah. Stepping out of character for a moment. So this is where the next stage of this adventure is. This is obviously a murder mystery. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this is going to be collecting clues. You may need to go back to witnesses or to people. People might lie to you, and you may or may not notice that. But yeah, I've run this adventure before. It's a shit ton of fun, but it does involve a lot of you guys trying to figure out who's lying to you, who's telling the truth, why are they lying, because the lies may not necessarily be connected to the murder itself.
We need, presumably, the first thing we need to know is try and establish where everybody was at the time of the attack. So we were at the back, which means we are in the least advantageous place to establish that. So I'm imagining we want to find out, do we know who was at the front?
Well, the other question that springs to mind is who was the last person to see him alive, as in when did he actually die? Was it during the attack?
Well, we're not going to find this. We're going to only find this by interviewing people. I mean,
yeah.
So I think the first thing we need to do is get the heads of the men at arms together, and we could interview them first. And
together or separately?
We'll talk to them first together, and then let them know, and then we can start interviewing their men at arms, and then go from there.
Okay.
Were all the nobles in the wagons? Do we know that much?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
That's what we got to ask the men at arms. Yeah, we talk to them and talk to the men at arms who might have seen something.
Okay.
Right. So.
I think you just know from, I'm trying to think who would do. Yeah, you're not from noble stock, Katarina, but you are from wealthy stock. They're likely to be more free, and there's more of an opportunity to trip them up on lies if you do it separately.
Yeah. Well, I want to let them know what's going on first, and then talk to them separately. Right. So
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they know what's going on, right?
No, I know, but like let them know what our plan is, so that they feel like they're involved. I mean, I think they could be more helpful than not. And then the other people we want to talk to are Matthias and Greta. See, with the minstrel, he's a good gossiper. Maybe he saw something, and maybe he can be unless they're the culprits. But maybe he can listen, right? He has access, really, and he can listen. He catches anything. So that's my suggestion.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know what you guys want to do, but I think Greta's gonna go call over Arnott and Everard.
And I will say as well, this is not one of these adventures where it's going to be gated behind skills. There are certain places where those of you who are more chatty are going to have advantages in them, but this is everybody can participate in this adventure meaningfully. So you don't need to worry about if you're garbage, if you got if fellowship is your dump stat, you don't need to worry about not having anything to do here.
The other thing I was going to ask, I don't know if so when either Raymar or Katarina were talking earlier, did anyone fidget or flinch? Like when we mentioned, especially like when Thognoth or someone said, Raymar said that they thought that the mutant attack was a distraction, right?
Not that you recall, no, but
like
no
intuition or something.
Yeah, okay. No one was looking specifically at the party. And you can't see everybody, right? So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Though maybe one of them saw something.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So anyway, I'll call over Arnott and Everett and just
okay. So
let him know
Aaron
what
and
our
Everett
plan. Yeah, Aaron.
come over. Let me just get to them. Okay. So they come over and let me just clarify one thing here. Ah.
I was actually thinking Frederick could talk to the minstrel, to Matthias.
Okay, so as they're the two of them are coming up, Everard seems he's the one at least who speaks first, and he says, "So you're the ones who are going to tell us who killed Herr Hager?"
Not right at the moment, no, sir. But we are tasked by our commission by the Elector Count and by our gods for justice to be found for the servant of Sigmar.
So he nods. I'm just going to make these guys bigger so it's easier for you to remember who's talking at what time here. So he says, "Well, with Shalia's help, I hope you find the culprit." This is Everett speaking here. What can we do to assist?
Well, I think, I mean, you know your men the best, so maybe you could assist us in interviewing them. And of course, I feel like that is the way we need to do it for appearances and posterity, to interview them first and then work our way up to our masters.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you gentlemen know, since your troops acquitted themselves well in the fight against the mutants, though they seem more rabble than anything else.
They look at one another.
You know,
All right, says Everett.
and my father always said that fighting men were the most honest men.
Aaron is the one who says, "I don't think your father knew fighting men well." And Everett shoots him a look what the fuck is wrong with you? And he seems to realize, and he says,
she goes, I say, well, my father sold a lot of things to fighting men, and she kind of tries to laugh that off, right? Like,
yeah. You guys can give us a perception, Katarina, and anyone else who is there.
All the guys are
check.
there. Everyone's there right now.
Yeah.
So
You can all give perception checks.
challenging.
This would be challenging, yes. Wow, Thogna. Oh, crit! Ooh, crit fail from Alwyn. So, Katarina, when he says that, you look over at him, kind of, trying to figure out how he's taking it. The look you see on his face tells you...
This is Errant, right?
This is Errant, yeah.
I gotta start taking notes. Hold on.
Okay. Errant is absolutely, like, as soon as it comes out of his mouth, he immediately regrets what he said, and he is like, I'm sorry. He seems to be upset.
And he seems upset, like upset at his mistake, or upset at like grr, or like angry.
He seems upset enough to say something that he, in other circumstances, likely would not have. If you're in his position and you have someone who comes to you who's charged with investigating a murder as a representative of the Elector Count, and says to you, instead of grilling you the way that you might expect, that, oh, I think you guys are pretty good guys, and then to be an asshole about it.
Oh, right.
You're either an unrepentant asshole or you're just fucking upset by something and you're lashing out. And that's what, with a crit success, there's something that is eating at this guy.
I was probably I don't want to confront him, so Katarina just kind of makes a joke to put him at ease, attempt to put him at ease.
Sure, give us a charm check and make that one. Make it easy. He's, I think, with a crit success, we'll roll that forward.
Well, my joke was funny. My father sold a lot of things to fighting men. All right, that's good.
He looks at you and forgive me. This has, I find myself on my last nerve.
Oh, I share empathy. I said, I'm empathetic. Katerina says, yes, this has made all of us very tense, and that is why, I guess we are the most neutral party to investigate this and have the authority of the Elector Count to boot. Again, I would talk to your men, let them know what's going on. And also, I guess we should not let anyone wander off without sort of prior consent.
Everett says, I will keep my men under control. And Aaron kind of looks at him, and the Kreutzfeld men, they will stay here as well.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. We will be talking to you later individually to see what perhaps you might have seen something during the chaos of the battle that I feel like is best, and then also prepare your men that they will also be interviewed.
Okay.
I almost said interrogated.
Yeah. Aaron says, before Everett can respond, we are at your disposal, sister. And he returns to his men. Everett returns to his men.
Thank you. Blessings of Shali upon you. May you never get an infection from a wound.
Then, what do you guys wish to do next?
I suggest like Frederick and or Alwyn go talk to Matthias and Greta. Thognoth, anyone you want to, and maybe I can go talk to Dorothy. I don't know, Thognoth, what you want to do, who you want to talk to.
To keep everyone involved, I'm going to suggest not splitting the party, just because you guys, we're going to have to take the time as players to go through this anyway.
Yeah, well, I feel like I had a lot of spotlight today, so I feel like someone else should direct conversation or.
You guys can all, you are all agents of the Electric Count. You can all feel free to involve yourself in this.
We have like little pins.
Yeah, exactly.
Deputize you.
So.
Okay.
And feel free to tell, like, a chunk of this is adventures is a matter of piecing things together as a party as well. Mm-hmm. So if you guys have any thoughts on strategy of who to approach, let me move Erasmus Hager off to the graveyard too.
After Katarina's suggestion to Thognoth, I think he's maybe following around Brother Kremsey.
Okay.
Raymer Kremsey.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on him, and so he may, maybe he gets involved with what the brother's doing, but he's following him around to keep an eye on him.
Okay.
Again, I think we should talk to the minstrel and Greta. They were, they might have seen something or heard something.
Okay.
So we'll approach them first. And also, I think that also, if they are the ones that are interviewed first, the nobles will be like, okay, they're not accusing us yet.
Plus, they're sort of neutral in this whole situation, I guess.
Well, I thought they worked for one of the houses. I
wanted to clarify that. I wanted which house are they hired by, or are they attached?
Matthias has been hired, he said, by them collectively to perform, but he did not say which specific house he was hired by.
I thought Greta was like one of these dudes' lovers or something. That's what I thought I interpreted, but maybe I was wrong.
That's not a terribly wrong assumption.
Okay.
Yeah, she's probably here for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we should establish the actual truth of those details, because that could be important.
Okay. Well, then we'll interview them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk to Matthias first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you speak to Matthias. What you gather from him is he is full of gossip from before. The same bunch of gossip that he shared with you back at the tavern. But that's his first involvement with these two. If you press him on how he came to know all this information, what he'll tell you is it's professional protection. If the family, has just lost a child, it's not wise to make jokes about their family or about children or things like that. You need to be aware of who your audience is, and as such, he needed to be aware of what was going on between the Durenbachs and the Kreutzfelds to be able to judge how far he could go with them one way or the other. He doesn't know anything about what the particulars are of the involvements beyond the gossip that he shared with you thus far.
What did you see in the battle?
I was hiding
In the woods, or
at the back of the Durenbach wagon.
where was the Sigmar coach? That was in the lead or in the middle?
Sigmar was at the front, then the Kreutzfelds, then the Durenbachs.
Okay.
Herr Hager was definitely traveling in his own, we believe. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely he was traveling on his own.
Who found the body? Was it Raymer?
It was Raymer and it was either Raymer or one of the initiates.
Yeah, Raymer announced it, but yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Should we try and establish who the last person who was who saw him alive then?
Of course. Yeah. Is it the initiative? The initiates that were travelling sort of by the side of him and sort of in his close vicinity?
Well, there must be a wagon driver as well, presumably.
Yeah, we'll interview all them.
So what you find, Thognoth, because you're following Raymer, right?
Yep.
It actually is, Raymer was riding in the coach with 3 initiates and Herr Hager. Brother Raymer, he stepped out of the wagon when the attack came. While he's speaking to the initiates who were in there, what you overhear, Thognoth, is the 3 initiates stayed in the coach when Raymar stepped out, and what they say is Erasmus, so Herr Hager, sat closest to the window at the near side of the couch, that is on the right side of the wagon, nearest where the largest group of mutants were located. Herr Hager peered out of the coach to see what was going on, and when he came back in, he began to speak what he saw, and then simply slumped over mid-sentence.
And all 3 initiates agreed on this? Like, there didn't seem to be there wasn't any discord in the accounts of the 3 initiates at all? That I overheard?
Yeah. Let me see here. If you're just overhearing, I think that's a perception check. Okay. Easy as well.
All right.
Yeah. Look at that critical.
Nice.
You are confident that these manlings are not lying to you whatsoever. They are fucking terrified. I think that what you're also able to pick up is that Raymar is doing his part to try and keep them, in addition to, you know, the stress and whatnot in the rest of the church. These 3 initiates had a ranking and powerful member of the church murdered in front of them somehow. They seem terrified that they are going to be blamed for what happened. And Raymar seems to be going, by keeping them busy, by keeping them looking into things, it seems as if that that he's almost keeping their hands busy so their minds can't work. Because if they did, they might freak the fuck out over the situation they find themselves in. But you are confident that none of them are lying. They're just terrified young acolytes.
Okay. I'm gonna. I look up to see who's closest to me of my party. See who's nearby.
You can see Katerina, Frederick, and Elwyn probably just finished. They just finished talking to Arendt and Everd, and those 2 are heading back to their respective families.
I'll since Katerina, you know, is engaged probably in conversation. I'll let's see. I'll walk up. I'll say first. I'll say to Raymer, don't go in the woods. Because I'm leaving him, you know, like I'm just making a comment. He probably doesn't even understand it, but I'm just, you know, dwarf muttering, you know, don't go into the woods. I'll be back in a minute, you know, and then I'll head to let's just say Alwyn, and I'll say, listen, the 3 initiates seem like idiots. They're young and they're terrified. I think they were telling the truth. It doesn't seem like any of them did it. If they did do it, they did it together, and I just don't see it. So it seems like the dead one, he leaned out of the coach. Need to find out, and he was killed just as he was leaning out. It was pretty swift, clever attack. Need to find out who was closest to that coach that could strike in a moment's notice, even as just the dead one leaned out for a moment. To take that throat strike from the stiletto.
Are we 100% sure it's a stiletto or some sort of, or could it be like a blowpipe dart or something?
Well, the dart would have still been there.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I guess
but
it would have, potentially.
Yeah. If it is a stiletto, it did not go in deep. Like, this is not someone who had their carotid punctured.
Yeah, it's like a pinprick type of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's when Alwyn mentions that, you think about it, Katerina, and you're like, oh, that's precisely what could have been used.
Oh, like a pin.
Yeah, a pin or a blow dart or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
But then, based on the description, it seemed like the blow dart would have fallen out, or someone would have found it, or I don't know.
Evidence, yeah.
Yeah. But
The 3 young ones didn't seem to think that he was out there. He was leaning out long, so it was a competent strike. It seems. The poison worked fast.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Too bad we don't have like a chemistry kit, and we could figure out what poison it was.
Full autopsy of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Ripper Street. That doctor. I before I leave talking to Matthias, I do ask him to, hey, if you hear anything, please let us know. People talk and gossip during tense situations, as you know.
He says, I will.
We'll make sure that the Electra Count pays you well for any help in the investigation.
That's greatly appreciated. Y'all can give us a perception check once again, too. This one will be, I think, average.
Good intuition, or I guess it's the same for me. Intuition's also
Yeah, let me take a look here.
Perception's fine. Average. It's the same for me.
No,
so
it's good to know what skill does what as well. Let me take a look here.
I reckon
Yeah,
we'd
intuition.
probably
Actually, Carl, you're absolutely right. Carl,
Okay.
intuition is a better fit for that. Whoa! Look at those great results here.
Yeah, we know,
Crit fail.
He's very. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Dogloff got it right. Is that Dogloff? Is that what you're
We got 88, 96, 66, 96.
Oh, wow.
Anyone want to spend fortune points?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I changing it to?
Just to average.
Perception. Are we sticking
Oh,
with
to
perception?
intuition. Yeah, intuition at average, please.
I think it's the same anyway.
Okay. That's an impressive set of rolls.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow. We know nothing.
Yeah, and I think it's like rather than giving you misinformation, I think there may be something you are telegraphing to some other folks. But yeah, Matthias is otherwise.
I'll give it a. I mean, normally I wouldn't because he's not very good at this, but let's give it a shot.
Okay, go right ahead. We're getting your
Oh, there we go.
crit success. So you're getting a good study of these manlings, Thognoth. I think you have a predisposition to not liking this person anyway.
Yes,
in part because you said you didn't like that, and in part because Katerina told you that he was saying shitty things about dwarves before.
He kind of was.
I don't think he was, but it's good that she thinks that. Thognoth, what you can pick up, though, is that if you were to guess, this guy is being a lot less clever than he was back at the tavern. He's a lot less cute. He's a lot less of like, oh, did you hear this kind of thing. This guy seems fucking terrified. And his comment about like knowing where you need to be careful of what you say to people and, you know, how the nobles might take things the wrong way or whatnot, you get a sense that this guy may have been in a lot of fucking trouble with a noble before, and he is terrified of being blamed for something again. Mm-hmm. That's the read you've got of this guy. He strikes you as a person who has fucked up before, and is whatever charming, you know, disarming facade he puts on before, he's just scared right now.
You gonna press him, Sean?
Yeah. Let's see. So if it was you, Bard, who do you think did it? Give me a guess. You're an observer of human behavior, I take it.
What I could tell you, I don't know who did it, but from what I hear, there are some who would not see benefit from peace coming between these families.
Oh, and who would that be? Some of the gossip you mentioned before, or something more juicy?
What I know is there are deeply held and personal reasons for hatreds between two. I think that Brigitte and Friedrich would likely see themselves dead before they allied with their rivals. They are not allied, but they each harbor the most resentment for their neighbors.
Isn't Friedrich the one who dabbles in the sorcery?
So the rumors say.
Yeah.
Well, both, right?
Or both, is it?
Both.
Oh.
Oh, perhaps. Well, I have a theory, but I don't know if I want to share it in front of Matthias. But
I did not hear yet, and I did not inquire further. I think there is a personal reason why Friedrich hates the Durenbachs. I could not uncover that myself beforehand, and I do not know which of the two. Nor would I, and you can see kind of like his face loses color. Nor would I publicly share any accusations about either of those families.
No,
But-
we're out in the woods, so I don't know. I don't know if this will ever become public. So have you run afoul of any of these families before?
Never. I
Would
simply...
there be any reason for you to feel that you are possibly, is there any reason for you to feel that you might be a likely scapegoat? Like all of us might feel.
I know that when they can, nobles of their type will always have someone else carry their water.
Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will.
Well, if you hear or see anything, please know you would have our confidence.
I will. I am grateful that you are... I'm grateful that you are the ones who are looking and not... I trust that your suspicions... You will find who is truly responsible for this and not simply a convenient name.
I will sort this out, Matthews. I'll go and pat him on the back. Don't you worry. Cheer up, old chap.
Thank you.
Maybe
Then-
play some songs, get people at ease.
He thinks about it. Yes. Perhaps something subtle. If there's
Okay, well,
anything
Keep the
else...
volume low if you
Those
don't mind.
initiates would have been.
Matthias, you're at an 8. We need you at a 2.
Or I'm going to have to come over there and regulate the situation.
Discharging. You're going to delegate Brother Raymer to someone else. You're in charge of the troubadour situation now.
Noisy troubadour.
So he, unless there are any other questions that any of you have for him, he will go and take his place and kind of idly strum his lute.
Talk to Greta.
I'm going to go back to Raymer before he gets himself killed.
Okay. So you head on over to rejoin Raymer, and you head over to Greta. And
Does she have like a lot of hairpins?
she does not. The impression that you got from her before was that she was likely a camp follower of some kind, or perhaps a professional lady. But yeah. So you come over, and she smiles at you all.
Would poison rings be a thing in this kind of setting, like a little
Yep.
needle in a ring? Yeah.
Yep. Could certainly be the thing. So she smiles, and she says, you're starting with those at the back of the caravan. Why am I not surprised that the nobles are not first interrogated?
We have to let the nobles feel like they're above it, so then they give them time to make a mistake if one of them did it. Plus, propriety and all. We do have to know our place, whatever authority we do have.
I don't know why you...
Or else the empire would crumble.
Surely they know that it would be the mutants who did this.
No, or else if they thought that it was the mutants, then they would all be sending the men-at-arms into the brush to beat him out. I do not think that they think it was the mutants. I don't think they even got that close to the carts or to the wagons.
I do not know.
Unless you saw something different.
I did not. I was listening to the troubadour at the back of the caravan with you all when the mutants attacked. And when they did, I hid.
Was she at the back with us?
Yeah.
Before the battle started?
Before the battle started, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all eating the cart's dust, you know.
Did you hide alone? Greta? Did you hide alone, or was you with someone?
I was alone. No, Matthias was with me. Hiding as well.
So he can testify to you being with him.
His head was down. I think he was hired for his musical ability, not for his nerve.
Well,
But what a terrifying attack, though.
It seemed pre-planned, truth be told.
You think so?
Based on my extensive study of mutants, because we must show them mercy despite their curses. Yeah, they seemed that speech was peculiar and uncharacteristic.
Oh, did they give a speech before?
You didn't hear them give a speech?
When I saw them come out of the bushes, I went and hid.
Where did Matthias say he hid? Was it under one of the wagons, or?
You didn't actually ask him. He said if you ask him, he hid right at the back of the wagons, yes.
So sort of behind the wagons.
I guess it'd be the Dernbach wagon. Right.
Yeah, it would be the Durenbach wagon was the back, then the Creutzfeldt, then Herr Hager's wagon.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of any signs that, if you'd gone under the wagon, you'd show mud on clothing or something, or if you sort of...
Yeah.
I was just looking for any sort of signs.
Why don't you give us a perception check? That'll be average, I think.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to re-roll that.
Yeah, hero point.
Yeah.
Fortune point that.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, she's got, like, on the hem of her jacket, there seems to be mud that's on there. She has a look. Friedrich and Katerina, why don't you each give us a perception check as well, please? At average, sorry. Yeah, so Alwyn, you've, crouched in your muddy alley before. So you, what she's got on her, definitely seems, it definitely seems consistent with what you, what her, her accoutrements look like right now. Katerina, though, when she gestures and moves, you think you can see she may have something strapped to the inside of her leg.
Oh. What is that? I point.
And she looks at you and looks down. She seems shocked that you saw. She says, I'm... And you can see she's sort of weighing whether or not to lie or not.
I'm gonna motion to Thognoth real quick if she starts to run.
Okay.
But,
No, she doesn't seem to love it. It seems like she's trying to weigh whether or not to lie. And
Do not lie before the goddess.
She moves back, revealing a very shapely leg. And as she pulls it up, you can see that there is a dagger that is striped. A slender and sharp dagger that is strapped to the inside of her leg. And she says, a girl must be careful.
Oh, I definitely understand that. I would hand that over to us before someone else finds it and accuses you.
She looks and I think she'll unstrap it and then remove it and the sheath. And it's definitely a more expensive weapon than likely she either stole it or she has more means than what is evident at first glance. And she says, I will get this back though, sister.
Yes.
You can check. It has not been used. There is no...
Well, it just... I'll be honest. It is probably already filtered around the camp that a small, sharp weapon was used to do this, commit this murder. So why? Who do you know, and why are you here? Tell us your story as to how you've come to be a camp follower with this diplomatic envoy.
She looks...
And also, is this a gift or did you steal it? This is a safe space. You are under the protection of the goddess. You will not be judged unless you committed the murder.
She smiles, like she's, laughing at a private joke kind of smirk. And she says, thank you, sister. That was not a gift. I purchased that.
Oh, very nice.
I was not lying. The road can be unsafe at times.
Well, as evidenced by the mutant's attack.
She looks back, and I think Katerina, because you rolled quite well with your perception, you can see as you're talking to her, Frederick Kreutzfeld from further up the wagon has sort of stepped a little further away from the wagon, and he seems particularly interested in the fact that you guys are talking to Greta. He's doing his very best to try and look as if he's not curious, but he's doing that thing of further up, kind of looking back and then like pretending not to look as soon as you look over.
I do ask her, so why is Herr Frederick Crutchfield taking an interest in our conversation? Pretend not to notice. I'm sure you know how to do that, my dear.
She doesn't spare a look at all in his direction. And she says, well, that's because I'm here to support Freddy.
Oh, Freddy.
Well, we're
Fred,
just...
I look at this, not this Freddy. I look at Frederick here.
She looks at Frederick. Handsome he may be. I suspect he is not used to the circles in which I run. I am simply here...
Indeed not.
...to support Freddy.
Well, hopefully, if he's involved, he doesn't blame you.
Oh, I think he would not dream of doing such a thing. He seems feisty. He has a soft spot for me.
Rumor has it that both Frederick and the Crutchfield and Brigida among the Durnbachs would love to see this diplomacy collapse.
I could not speak. Such things bore me.
But I'm sure you hear things.
Freddy doesn't use my support for family matters.
Is she lying?
As far as you can tell, she seems to be telling the truth.
Okay.
At least with respect to why she's here. But there is an element. She's trying to hide it quite well, Alwyn. The way she's talking about Freddie. And you don't doubt that what she said with respect to the nature of their relationship, what he is to her, what she is to him, is true. But however a soft spot Freddie may have for her, you get the sense she's hiding it pretty well. But she fucking hates that guy. Katerina and Frederick, you're hearing this from her, and she seems genuine. She seems absolutely, as she's presenting, that she's here to support him, and she's just, you know, whatever else. Alwyn, you can see a little bit more of the truth of it, and the way she's saying his name is not, yeah, she, if you were to guess, fucking despises this guy.
Yeah, but he's got loads of money and influence.
He was the one who nearly got in the sword fight with Rupert Dernbach, right? So, sure, hot-headed, spoiled, you know, second child, surely he's going to be a charmer, right?
No, I mean, are you gonna? I think Katerina's done with the questioning. If you guys want to ask her something,
I mean, yeah, because Alwyn is a bit of a ladies' man. He's got the attractive talent and that, and he notices.
and he sleeps in an alleyways. Okay.
Yeah, but that's a side thing. but she don't, you know, does she show any interest, like you know, just from an attraction point of view, as in, you know, does
to Alwyn?
Yeah, I mean, normally he's good at reading people, and then if we go, oh yeah, he looks quite handsome, or does she just disregard him just because of his level of, you know?
Give us a charm. What does your attractive thing give you? I can't remember if it's an actual success level or.
You can, if you make a successful charm, you can use like the digit as your success level.
Yeah. Go ahead and give us a charm check. This will be average as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's not very helpful.
Okay, 1 or a 0. I mean, you could fortune point that, see if you can fish for a better tens digit, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Well, it's not a 10. It's a 1. It's a 0.
Yeah, so it'd be a 1 or a... Well, as I'm saying, is a 1 or a 0.
Yeah, it's not.
A 4's still better, though.
Yeah, 4's a lot better.
Yeah.
So what do you say, Alwyn?
Yeah, how do I
Just clear your throat and just go,
yeah. Well, I'll say something like, well, if it's ever found out that, you know, Freddie may be up to no good, maybe you could look elsewhere.
She looks at you.
Just give her a sort of slight smile.
Yeah. She kind of, you know, does an up and down on you. Unless you have a purse secured on you somewhere. Honey, I think I may need to look a lot further. And she winks at you. And she says, but... And she looks back and forth. I will tell you something. Did you know Freddy's brother is a mutant?
Jacob.
She nods. Oh, yes.
Not at all.
Freddy has big things ahead of him.
Darren, are you gonna confront her about your observation that while she's with Freddy, she kind of hates him, or?
I think. I mean, I can tell that to the rest of the group. I mean, she just paid to be here, pretty
You
much.
guys are free to always go back to witnesses as well. So you need, like, you certainly can do it, but like, just don't feel like you've only got one kick at each of the NPCs. I mean, things might happen, but as far as you know, there's not a ticking clock here.
It would certainly be. I'll try and get some sort of read from her. It certainly would be horrible if Freddie or Jacob were caught up in this nasty business. I just want to see if she gives any sort of whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of. If she seems that bothered, just to give the rest of the group.
When you say the whole business, what do you mean? The murder, the meat attack?
Yeah, but this horrible murder business. And
yeah, she, as far as you can tell, she does not, from her reaction, she does not seem to
she's not worried.
think. No, she's not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
She may know Freddy a fair bit better at what he's capable of and not capable of, or at least she has in her estimation of that. She says, I don't know who killed Erasmus.
Yeah, I don't think.
How is Jacob's Crutchfeld's mutation manifested?
That I don't
Or
know.
is this just the word of Frederick Crutchfeld?
I cannot say where I heard such a thing, but I believe it to be true. So, anything else of Greta? Sir, what was that, Sean?
No, I was gonna finish. I had a thought, but finish with Greta.
No, I think we're done for now.
Okay. I'm just going to move Astrid underneath me because it's driving me nuts. She's partly over Greta. There you go. It'll be easier for you guys to read.
Do we think?
We definitely examine the dagger when she leaves and see if is the smell the scabbard? Could it be? Does the tip of the dagger look like it could have been used, or is it too
Blood, yeah.
too blunt or sharp? Or
Yeah, you can give us this will be a
dwarf taste it for blood or poison?
routine. Yeah. Yep, poison.
Lick it. Lick that thing.
You can give us an easy heal check, Katerina.
Yeah.
Just by looking at this thing.
Okay.
You're confident there's the wound on his neck. It was too delicate of a puncture wound. This dagger certainly would not be used for this. Anyone have any kind of like underworld or streetwise or any kind of lore like that? No?
Not lore. I will mention, not that it's applicable now, but I've got sleight of hand, so I don't know if that would help me to identify any sort of in the future. Yeah, just if anything comes up where someone's trying to hide something, or I don't know.
I mean, what you would
probably come under perception anyway, I guess. So.
Yeah, what I could tell you with that is that when Katerina describes what likely was used, someone mentioned a blow dart. She thinks that that's the case. It's easily something that could have been trampled on or overlooked in the thing. It's a very easy thing to miss. Might have been tromped down into the dirt. Even to look for it, you may not think of it as what it actually was.
Yeah. Do we think Jacob being a mutant could mean he would have connections with other mutants and be involved in the arrangement of the ruse?
I'd say there's a good chance of it. Because like in Carl was saying about the speech and everything, it was all a little bit static and a bit rehearsed or reading from, it was all a bit
scripted.
But Jacob's supposed to marry Dorothy, right? So that's one of the right. Jacob and Dorothy are supposed to be married.
That's the rumor.
Yeah. Okay.
And they weren't in a rush to engage, were they? It was more a threatening behaviour and a spectacle, not an actual lot of fighting going on.
You didn't see any of them engage with you, in fact. There were ones who attacked back when Thognoth came running in, but none of them initiated combat.
Yeah, and they were quite quick to flee if they got the chance. But once it started, once people start taking hits and stuff.
So Thognoth. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say someone. So there's someone as. It's not just a murder, is it? It's the whole plan and the ability to organise this. It has to be someone that could organise this whole thing and have the connections. Are we happy with the motive? We're happy that the motive is to stop the reconciliation or the treaty, or.
Would that stop it? Would that stop it? The death of this?
It definitely causes a complication.
Oh yeah, but would it actually, the end result be that they wouldn't have to join in of the families, or would it just be delayed, or?
It just depends on who wants to experience the wrath of the electric count or not. Right. I mean, that could be a strong motivation to make this work. So who would want to? Right. So I think we can. I mean, we could talk to the troops, see if they saw anything. That can be relevant because we just asked them the same kind of questions. Did you see anything? Or did you hear anything?
I think Thognoth will, after watching Brother Kremsey enough, he'll get motivated to approach the coach driver of the deceased.
Of Herr Hager, Ken?
Yep, and go up to him and question. Yeah, go up and question him. And
okay, nothing fruitful.
Okay.
Not for nothing. So out of character, running these kinds of murder mysteries can be, as a game, can be really can result in players sometimes spinning wheels and stuff like that. One of the things I think is clever about the design of this particular adventure is it kind of at least gives you an idea of who might have clues with it. So it's definitely a artifice that's put on the adventure, so you kind of know who might have something useful. But if you do not see someone on here, I think as a meta level, you can probably assume there's not useful information that will come from it.
Okay.
So,
well, but I mean, like from my point of view as Katarina, I figured the men at arms were way too involved and busy, but it just gives
and that's what you're going to find.
It gives the appearance, right?
And I don't mean to these kind of things. This is an artificial situation. And because it's an artificial situation, there's always going to be holes in areas and whatnot. And it's a great idea, like in the fiction, Sean, to want to talk to those people. What you can assume, like your characters wouldn't necessarily do that, but what we can assume, if I'm brushing past stuff, is because the nature of this investigation is set up in such a way to be a game, not to be accurate of reality. So the conceit for it is that these are the faces that may have information about this for you, then the players, to put together. But we can assume that if you're talking to other folks, you would speak to the men-at-arms, as you say. They were involved in the fight. They did not see anything of value. The initiates, apart from what they've described thus far, do not have any useful information. The coach drivers, likewise. They don't have anything to say, and no particular insight into that. So it is it's an artifice in the role-playing aspect of it, but it's a necessary one in order to make this playable as a game.
Mm-hmm.
That make sense?
So do we think we have time in 8 minutes to talk to Arendt or Everard?
You could start if you like, or do you guys wish
who
to?
Who do you want to talk to first? The alphabetical order by first name.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
All right. We'll ask respectfully ask Arendt after we've interviewed all the men-at-arms to come forward.
So Arendt,
and then he says, "Well, why me first?" We'll say, "Well, your coach was closer to the."
Sure. So the impression you have of Arendt, his hair is completely gray. His features are battle-hardened. He has a close-cropped goatee. And you see his face has small random scars from previous battles, and he wears slightly dented plate mail. Thognath, you'd recognize a fellow long-term soldier if you're meeting with him as well.
Yeah, I think it's important.
He comes over,
see the dwarf, and maybe if he has.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, also, Thognath has so far been the one rolling back-to-back crits on his perception and intuition checks. So really,
no, but I mean, even Thognath could be. I would say even talk to him or ask him questions. Right? Feel free to interrupt Katerina or whoever asking questions.
Yeah,
because he might talk to you more easily or readily as a fellow warrior soldier.
Okay.
So you waved me over. I was kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
You're talking to the coachman. Are you sure? Nothing. You didn't see nothing. You're right here.
And I'm poking him in the chest too with the haft of my axe. I'll have you know.
You know the weight of the full electric count will come down on you.
I'm not sure you quite understood my question. Yeah, that kind of.
So you wave him over, and he's like, "Oh." The coachman seems incredibly relieved to have this terrifying dwarf called away. So
he's clearly asleep at the reins.
Yeah, clearly. It's annoying.
Arendt then walks over and kind of adjusts, his shifts his the weight of his plate mail as if it's the way that an uncomfortable scritch in your shirt might be require you to shift. It's something he's very comfortable in, and he looks and says, "Then you had questions for me as well."
Well, yes. I kind of update him on the investigation, but the non-pertinent information.
So the suspicions. Let me ask you this: as you're going over, do you think that Arendt and Severed are fellow investigators or suspects?
Yeah. See, I'd want to pretend that they're fellow investigators, but
they're suspects.
But they're suspects, right?
You would think that as you're going up, because I don't think you're wrong to want to defer to them because there's definitely, you catch more flies with honey kind of stuff as well, too. At the end of the day, you are the representative of the electric count, and these are your fellows who are acting in your, in that, within the capacity of that, to the power that comes from that charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 4 people that are not suspects, and that's us.
Right.
Suspicious that John didn't make it today.
Ah, that's our man.
Where is that?
Where is that
priest of Manan? You find a pond to jump in? You can't swim. All right.
So what he'll tell you, if you ask where he was at the front of the caravan surveying the area for danger when the mutants attacked.
So he was close to the. You were close to the coach of Sigmar then.
I was, but I do not know who killed Erasmus.
Did you hear a cry out or a scream? So apparently it was a swift, stab to the neck. It definitely seems like it was subtle, like an assassin, not a professional soldier or warrior. It was an assassin's blow that felled.
He kind of nods knowingly. Then, Sister Katerina, we are speaking in... And he looks at the other three. This is in confidence.
Of course.
I can tell you the two... If I were in your position... And he gestures over to Everett, who is sort of talking to one of the mercenaries who serves the Durnbachs. I would suspect that man only because he would do anything for money.
So you believe money was the motivation?
I do not know for certain, but I know that he would do... There's no end to what that man would be willing to do for money. I do not think he would be the mind behind the blade. But I know that the depths of depravity of what that would do.
But you did not see him during the fight, however? You were at the front. You were near the coach.
I can't vouch for where he was during the mutant attack because he ordered me to the far side of the coach.
And you wasn't there before. He sent you away. He specifically sent you away.
He told me that there were mutants on the far side, so I was on the far side of the couch. I cannot tell you where Everett was. And as for who, I can tell you that among his charges, I think there is one murderer already. They do not speak of it, but I don't... What I hear, the death of Dorothy Durenbach's first husband was not illness or misfortune. They say she murdered her first husband.
The priestess of Shalia? Ex-priestess of Shalia?
A former priest. I do not know this for certain, but from what I've heard about her and the circumstances of her husband's death, it seems convenient.
I know there is great enmity between your houses, and I'm not accusing you of anything, Herr Stetstrop, but could these accusations be motivated by your dislike of that other house? Are you being sincere here in front of myself and my companions?
I'm loyal to my employer.
Definitely.
I take those vows but, sister, other than those in the family, nothing would make me... I would be among the happiest if we could simply see peace between these families. I have seen enough war in my time. Once, before I go to the Garden of Moor, I would like to see peace. And I think there, guys, is where we will leave our investigation and our session. So you get the usual XP.
I do have a question, Kevin.
Yeah.
Are we going to sign off, and maybe I should ask the question up there?
No, it depends. Is it a question related to the game, or?
Yes, it's related to like advancement.
Oh, yeah. Well, that we can talk about afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I don't want to have folks stuck around longer than they need to.
Yes.
What is is it 100 we've been giving out each session?
Yes.
Yeah, so there we go. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 5 of the Salt, Silver, and Sin campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to Warhammer role-playing games in general, to most campaigns we run on the channel, most games we run on the channel, as well as a ton of other great channels like Finding a Group or GM Discussion or Non-RPG Chat. There's a really great community that's built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends in the description of the video, to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print role-playing games in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they don't have something in stock that you're looking for, you can often put that on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in stock, because they refresh their stock and turn it over pretty quickly. And then they'll send you an email when it comes in, and you're able to pick it up at your leisure. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code FALLMUSER, all caps, all one word, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. There's also, if you're listening to this at another time, those change over time. So if you're listening to this after January 15th, 2024, come back to one of our more recent videos and get the updated discount code. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really amazing organization active in over 130 countries, providing support for over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, over the course of this year, we have been running a Year of Ill Omens charity campaign. Every one of the 6 sessions has been shaped by donors who have been voting on where the game will happen, what kind of characters we're playing, what game we're playing. And it'll be wrapping up in 2 weeks' time, actually. 2 weeks, 25th. 2 weeks from today, we'll be playing the final session that will wrap it up. And the donors have selected a session set in the 1980s, playing a bunch of unlicensed paranormal investigators, which we'll be using the D20 Modern system to play. So I'm looking forward to that. Who are you going to call? The player characters from next session. But for this campaign, we will be back in 2 weeks' time. But the last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart heroes. So Sean, Colin, Carl, and Darren, thank you so much for joining me back in the old world, guys. I have so much fun running this game, and you guys are doing a hell of a job role-playing these characters. I am so sorry for what's going to come at the end of this investigation. So then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours, take your mind off the troubles of our world, and think about the troubles that are occurring between these feuding families south of Salzenmund. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.